Yeah, I think it was just a form
that you submit to the state?
that we completed it. I think we had to have it notarized, and then we mailed it in.
What does domestic partnership mean to you compared to marriage?
Well, we are registered domestic partners based on just the legal advice that we received for creating an estate plan. So we saw a lawyer who works with couples on those things, and we completed a bunch of forms, a durable power of attorney, a last will and testament, and she recommended that we also do a domestic partnership agreement at the same time. So there was just a number of those kind of documents that we completed.
You regard it as something of a property transaction or estate planning transaction?
It was. Well, that's when we did ours during that process, and it was, I believe it has some unique features that was a little different from a durable power of attorney or a will, and so we completed it. And it allows us access to each other's health benefits and some other benefits through our employers.
Is it as good as marriage?
To me, they're not the same thing at all. You know, I viewed the domestic agreement as precisely that, an agreement, a legal agreement. In some ways, it memorializes some of our responsibilities to each other, but it isn't the same thing as a celebration or something we don't remember. That's the day that we invited people over on. We just did that as part of the things we did as a couple to protect ourselves since we can't get married.
One of the issues that the court is going to have to deal with is how that domestic partnership, how is that domestic partnership relationship different to you than marriage? And why is it that you want marriage so much when you have this opportunity?
Well, I don't have access to the words that describe my relationship right now. I'm a 45-year-old woman. I've been in love with the same woman for 10 years, and I don't have a word to tell anybody about that. I don't have a word.
Would the word do it?
Well, why would everybody be getting married if it didn't do anything? I think it must do something. It appears to be really important to people, and I would really like to use the word too, because it symbolizes maybe the most important decision you make as an adult, who you choose. No one does it for you. You weren't born with that as your cousin or your uncle or your aunt. You choose them over everybody else, and you want to feel that it's going to stick. And that you'll have the protection and the support and the inclusion that comes from letting other people know that you feel that way.
Do you think it would matter in your neighborhood, in your community, that you would be able to say that you and Sandy were married? Would it cause people to treat you differently?
I think it would be an enormous relief to our friends who are married. Our straight heterosexual friends that are married almost view us in a way that's, I know they love us, but I think they feel sorry for us, and I can't stand that. You know, many of them are in their second marriage or their first marriage, and nevertheless, they have a word, and they belong to this institution or this group. And I can think of a time recently when I went with Sandy happily to a football game at the high school where two of our kids go, and we went up to the bleachers, and we were greeted with these smiling faces of other parents sitting there and waiting for the game to start. And I was so acutely aware that I thought, they're not married. They are all married, and I am not.
It sounds to me like your heterosexual friends don't feel threatened if you were to get married. The same-sex marriage doesn't sound like it threatens them.
No. The friends we have, I think, would feel better about their marriages if we could be married too. This would feel like they get to help support our family in a way that's familiar to them, makes sense to them. Right now they're a little bit unsure, but just like all of us are, of what we should all be doing because we're outside of any sort of tradition. It's just the sort of thing that we invented that no one but us understood.
You've heard the argument, I think, probably in various different places, that allowing you to get married to a person of the same sex would damage the institution, the traditional institution of marriage. Do you agree?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Expert testimony.